Well, welcome in. We are about 15 minutes from the start of the opening drive here from EA. We're just going to be talking about whatever it is that they're going to be releasing today. It's going to be a very chill, relaxed stream. So, with that, let's get some music going in the background as we get ready for hopefully all the information we've been looking for and more. We will. Oh, made that screen too big. Make that adjustment. We will have a video playing as well of whatever game we decide to get going. I think it will be fun if we start perhaps with a little bit of a national championship rematch. That sound interesting to you? Let me know. We'll get that going in the small window. Again, I've got the chat pulled up for whenever all that information starts flowing in, and we'll be talking about all of that and more. As we'll also get the I'll get the link for the actual opening drive in the description of this as well. Just want to make sure we're here nice and early so we don't miss anything. Well, what is it? Loco's already in. He's ready. What is it we are wanting to hear today about College Football 27 and Madden 27? Did not do a great job with spelling that one. Let's see. Trying to see, where is EA's actual... Looking up their YouTube page here. Funny enough, they're not actually the ones that pop up at the top for themselves. Loco doing a Dynasty video at 9. Bordeaux doing a Dynasty video at 9. You know, I looked at Google beforehand, and Google said that they are estimating it's going to take about 30 to 60 minutes. So we'll see if that is the case or not. I'll go over to their Twitter. I bet I could find it quicker on their Twitter. Yeah, hopefully they do start with college football. I feel like that's going to be the bigger news than Madden this year. There we go. Yeah, the link is at the top of their Twitter. Well, like I said, I'll get that put into the description here. Start time is just about 11 and a half minutes away. We'll also get a game going. If there's a certain game you guys want to see, let us know. We'll just put that down there so we have something to kind of watch. Because obviously we can't have the stream, their stream within this stream. We can just kind of talk about their stream. All right. Just about a second away, and I'll have the link to the actual opening drive stream in the description. So if you guys just want to refresh, that should give you the link if you're looking for it. Let's see, what's up, Mr. Dunaway? Haven't seen you around in a little while. I do think there'll be beta codes right at launch. That I'm not sure. It would be fun if there are, but I don't know. I think the first thing that they're probably going to announce is basically the release date. Again, I'm hoping they start with college football, then we get on in to some Madden conversations later. Let's see. Let's just choose a random team. Iowa State versus Akron. I don't think that's going to be Indiana. Well, there we go. Versus Oregon State. Get something a little bit more complimentary here. Random team from the SEC. What do we think? Indiana and Tennessee, just for a little something down there? Been busy with work. Oh, I get it. I'm waiting for the College Football 27. Excited for your next series? Well, hopefully after some information today, I'll be able to narrow down a little bit more of who that team is actually going to be. Ooh, Bama? Nah, not feeling Bama. Let's see. Let's get Miami in here. We're just going to do a neutral thing here. We're just going to be watching through the game. And just for a little something at the bottom. Probably chose the wrong direction to go from that menu. Definitely did. There it was. It was like the next one over. Get that going. We'll just have something in the background here for us today. Just so we got something to kind of look at. Let me know what the volume is with that. If we need a little bit lower, I could lower that volume too. We are less than 10 minutes away from the opening drive here for college football 27 and Madden 27. Loco, you didn't mention earlier. Sorry, just now getting to it. The dynamic weather, more immersion, and pageantry. Tune-up gameplay. All you want. I mean, it's simplicity, right? That's kind of the only thing I feel like a lot of true Dynasty players, and I would even say a little bit into the road to glory people as well. We just want to see everything that should be with every team. Now, we did see, granted, I've seen some things that it might have actually been AI images that they used when they posted this morning some sneak previews, because it looked like one of the players in the photo, it had number 1 on his chest, but the shoulder had number 10. So I don't know if those were actual pure looks into what college football 27 is going to look like, but one of the things we did see was the mascot mode back. So I would only imagine if we got the mascot mode back, every mascot should be in the game. Why it took them this long to do it, I don't know. But I think mascot mashup should indicate all mascots are in the game, so we're going to get some boost there to the pageantry from that, traditions from that. And we got Tyler saying he's excited for that mascot mashup. Tony used to be number 10. He changed his number this offseason to 1, so it's probably just an error. I wonder if that's like a coding thing. If you could even possibly mess it up to where you have different numbers based off of chest, back, and shoulders, again, depending on jerseys, because some have them on the shoulders, top of the shoulders, side of the shoulders, some just don't have them at all. So do wonder if that's a coding thing or if it was a nod, perhaps, if it was intentional. But, I mean, it might also just be EA being EA. I mean, I will not lie, I've been using a little bit of some Chat GPT photo creations just to try to give us a little bit more depth in the videos lately. I hope that has been working out well for us, helping out with the thumbnails as well to really try to portray the story that we're talking about in these series, because obviously this is a Dynasty channel. We've been dabbing in with a little bit of the story modes of Road to Glory, coaching carousel, stuff like that. So I think it's been a good addition, but not getting too fake. Just a little sprinkle in. I think that's all we need. I was saying EA will EA. I kind of wish they took like 2 years per release. I mean, that would be good if we're getting some actual like big time upgrades for sure. If there's a little bit more of a gap between, I would be fine with that. Marcus, mascot game, in-game updates, pre-game, just like NCAA 13, halftime show, recruiting better, grading schools. College classics. Yeah, they don't really do much of the like instant classic stuff anymore, which I think they should add to. Add more gear and equipment. I mean, gear and equipment, I'm not that big of a... It's not something I need, If it's there, great. But it's not a big necessity for me. But they did, from what I've seen. From at least the leaks, they talked about adding... leg sleeves, I know for sure. Some other mouth pieces, not in mouth, but like dangling off the face mask and stuff. Also, everyone is using AI. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I just, I want to make it very clear that, yeah, there is AI that I am using, but it's not overly so. As Indiana gets a touchdown going here. And I saw the team selection screen. Is that a leak or did they post it? It's new and so nice. Let me take a look on the socials. I'd imagine that they would start posting something a little bit closer to release time. Let's see. People are playing the game as we speak. I imagine that they probably invited certain people to go play. Yeah, I'm not seeing any screens from the official Twitter account for EA College Football. But again, I know that they do invite the EA Creator Network and stuff. They do invite people to play things early and stuff. So I imagine we're going to start seeing a lot of that content over the next about week or so. Fortunately, not me. But it's fine. We got to wrap up a couple more series. So before we are about 3 minutes away from them starting things off tomorrow. You guys do not want to miss this Kent State episode I got coming your way. The Penn State matchup might be one of the best games we have had yet. So make sure you're tuned in for that as we are close. CFB Kings on Twitter. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. I know they've been someone who have talked a lot about the leaks and stuff. The new main menu, that is interesting. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I like that it's new looking. That's for sure. Those that not sure what I'm talking about, if you go to Twitter, at CFB Kings, one of their top few ones that they've got on here is the image. Very unprofessional here, but again, this is just going to be a chill live stream. You can kind of make it out there. The camera will focus. That's what it's looking like. So, I mean, it honestly kind of seems like a throwback to early 2010s, late 2000s Madden. Like, it's new. I like that aspect. And it'll obviously probably be different for whatever team it is that you select as your favorite team. But I think it'll just be something to get used to. That is that depth that they've got going. I like that it's 3D, a little bit more dynamic, but I don't know, maybe a little bit less tilt to it. But we'll see how it works when we're actually scrolling through, not just seeing an actual screenshot of it. We're inside a minute and a half until they begin. But I will say, the fact that it does look so different is a good sign, because that was a problem with Madden over the last 3 or 4 releases. If they've just been stacking the changes on top, they haven't actually been removing any of the previous things, which is, I think, why all of the menus were broken in Madden this last year. So hopefully that means they clean things up, and in College Football 27, they didn't just add that all on to the existing, which is just going to make sure that it's going up in the download volume, the gigabytes, because there's so much storage that honestly they could probably get rid of. But yeah, we're only going to find out as soon as we actually get a hold of that information. Well, we are inside the waiting time. We're just waiting for EA Sports to go live here. Now, I have it pulled up. It's not on the College Football EA Sports YouTube page. It is on the EA Sports Madden NFL page, or if anyone having trouble finding it themselves. Make sure you don't forget the music. Loca, I'm going to keep the music on in the background here, because there's not much for us to talk about this time. Or any game for us to play. We do just have a little bit of a game action going in the bottom corner. If there's a game you guys want to see, and this one wraps up before we wrap up, then we can definitely put on another game there. But yeah, not going to be pulling up their actual stream. There's copyright problems with all of that, and I'm not trying to get in trouble with EA or YouTube or anything like that. So we're just going to talk about it. If you want to pull up the actual opening drive on another device, TV, computer, you can just stash me on your phone or whatever is easier for you and just have the chat open. We'll talk about it. That's at least the game plan I got. In fact, I need to make sure my volume's actually up so I can hear what they're saying. And it looks like they are late to their own live stream. Just checking over at their side of things, and I'm seeing people putting a lot of L's in their chat as they're late. They're just making us wait a little bit longer, I guess, letting it cook a little bit more. Don't need that screen getting darker. But in our little mini game, we do get a tied up ball game here, 7-7. I'm going to see if they've posted anything on Twitter or something about why it's taken them so long. And yes, still call it Twitter. We'll always call it Twitter. What are we doing here, EA? Making us wait even more. Their chat is pretty funny right now, though. Delay a game, someone says. Definitely delay a game for sure. Not 3 or 4 delay a games. Come on now, we need this information. They're probably having some technical difficulties getting videos queued up for a live stream, something like that. I've had that same problem before. Oh, yeah, Tyler, they're late. They're late. It must be from our offensive line, from the prequel series. They're holding them up. Hopefully, the holdings aren't as bad. College football 27. Yeah, we're just... We'll see how long it takes them. I guess in the meantime, what is one thing that if they added it, you wouldn't be too happy about that? Here we go. It just went live. Make sure I got my volume going here. Yeah, we're up. Just got a quiet volume going. Oh, 3 minutes late. Looks like we're starting with a trailer first. And it looks like this is NFL, but I'm getting vibes more of college. Definitely college first. Nothing in-game yet, just pure real-life shots here. The mascots going. So it looks like mascots are going to be a bigger thing. That's good news. So far, nothing really new. That's a nice handstand, though, from the Badger. Handstand, headstand, actually. Okay. Opening drive. Maybe that was just the intro. So no trailer yet. Let me know if you guys could hear their live stream audio coming through or not. Goal is for them to not actually be coming through. Because again, I don't want to have problems with the copyright. Well, we got a decent little intro script going here. Well, I will say they had their camera guys busy getting some little shots to insert here or there. All right, first throw over. Talking about, was it Florida? And now we're showing everyone else but Florida. So they might just be bouncing kind of back and forth then between Madden and college football. We're starting with the future of football here. Oh, classic Steve Jobs entry. Claps a lot. Yeah, what do you guys think of that Caleb Williams cover? I think that's good news for me as a Vikings fan that the Bears are going to get cursed. My phone, but again, hopefully you guys don't hear it. Say everything. So we've got a lot to talk about. Plan is also to obviously react today, but then we'll break down each individual game mode and additions like that in upcoming videos. So anyone watching this later is going to be really confused on why there's so much blank space as we're watching what's happening. I'll say I do like the deluxe edition more so than the standard one. That's a Badger. That's not either of those three. No Signetti tonight. You know, the whole Caleb Williams arc is absolutely crazy. Because last year, they were absolutely loving him. There's Bengal. Yeah, they were absolutely all, like, loving Caleb Williams. The year before that, they trashed him as often as they could. That arc is just strange. If you're here. Well, it's pretty quiet. I don't know if Caleb actually showed up. Yeah, this is definitely given like Apple. Here's the brand, like brand new iPhone, but it's basically the same as everything, but they're just throwing out keywords. Don't know. Uh-oh. That's thing that might cause some problems. Shared things between college football and Madden. Except football's played on pretty much every day outside of like Wednesday. They say gameplay above everything. I think that matters more so, at least from my experiences, with Madden more than college football. Madden's gameplay has been really bad for a long time. Yeah, Loco, I mean, there's a lot of good keywords they're throwing out. I just need to see the follow-through. Obviously, we're not to that point yet, but there's some good keywords. Loco, you going back and forth? No, hey, no problem at all. We'll chat about it at the end, too, whatever's easier for you. Well, yeah, because you guys have the monopoly on the NFL. But right now, it says connected with more life and fandom without limits. Oh, I guess actually there's 3. Gameplay above everything, too. This first one we talked about. Platforms. There you go. Officially, College Football 27 is headed to PC. That was leaked thanks to Amazon. Okay, so confirmed with mobile too. Now that is coming soon. So they're not giving an announcement later. They said later this year. Now, there have been talks about it kind of being similar to the Madden mobile they had, what, a couple years ago? Looks like we're going to start with college football. That's good news. Yeah, Eric said go play Madden 08. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like I'm watching an Apple, whatever they call it, keynote speaker or whatever, where they say, oh, we're innovating all this stuff, but it's things that we've had before. Interesting. We're about to get the trailer going right now. Got to obviously start with the last Natty win. Nevada shield looks nice. That's a fun scene, seeing the 2 different teams in the same tunnel. Good money. Shiny teeth that sparkle. Now, I'm more wondering if this is actual closer to gameplay look, or if this is a little bit more of some CGI work, if you will. Because if it is just straight gameplay, I mean, it looks nice, for sure. Hard to say it looks that much better compared to what we have in College Football 26. I think they're just adding on to it, maybe cleaning things up a little smoother. That practice facility looked a lot better. I would like the ability to change what practice facility we could use, whether it be outside or inside, and have them look semi-different. North Dakota State. No, Oregon, my bad. It looked like North Dakota State. I thought they were going to get a little shout out here. That's clean, though. And that's why I think it's more CGI, shots like that. Or animation, whatever it is you want. Available July 9th. There we go. That is the release date there, July 9th. They typically release about that mid-second week of July. That means we are just over a month away. The start of a brand new series here. Now, one thing I will say I do wish I saw more of there was a focus on some of the smaller schools, right? Because we've seen plenty, and the bigger teams have already had a lot of pageantry and stuff like that. But the small teams have had basically nothing. So that's a little bit more disappointing. Now, there was, I think, a little something there for Navy. They had the anchor in there, but hopefully that's a sign that there's at least something for every team. Also, available August 13th, Madden 27. Will I play the mobile game? Probably not. Probably not. All right, so now we got a Madden trailer, I guess. The Dodgeball Legend. On method. I mean, I'll say it's a fun take for a trailer, if you will, more like a commercial. Why we got to do the Vikings dirty like that? Come on now. You see them. Just orange gummy bears. I guess that cowboy bears. We put some of the blue ones in there. Oh, sneaky red one. What's going on with that? Can't have red. Friend, there's no red in the division. Okay, so there's holdouts. That's fun. I like that. Game engine footage. Not exactly game footage. Punch the mic there. Why are we doing the Vikings dirty again? Jefferson with a one-hand snag, though. Was that Murray throwing it to him, too? There. Okay, so there we go. We know Murray they've got as a starting quarterback for the Vikings. There's your first look at a depth chart. Demanding trades would be a really fun addition. I kind of had to force that myself. Now imagine if we're getting dynamic weather in college football 27, there'll probably be dynamic weather in Madden. Are they going to suit this guy up? I'm assuming, yes, they're just using that as a joke and not that you could actually create a player inside your own franchise. This is a really long kind of trailer, if you will. It's a, it's a fresh take on it, and I am there for the fresh take on the commercial or the trailer. August 13th again here for Madden 27. So I feel like there's a lot of things there that you could allude to what was added, but not just straight up saying what is added. Okay, we'll learn more shortly. Get into the future of football. We're welcomed. All right, so now it's going to be a little intermission. The transition. Little actual game designer now. So now we'll probably get a little bit more straight up information, not just trailer then. And I think we're just bouncing back and forth between the two different games, college football and Madden. There we go. I thought it was frozen for me for a second. Yeah, we need to see that gameplay. Gatto Gallagher. That's some shade to Bordeaux. Ooh, my Bengal. Shade being thrown around in that room. Ian Dub made. How's it going, bud? You have to buy a 12-month subscription for that Madden game this year. Where are you hearing that from? Confirm. Check it out. I'll do a quick check here. Checking out the pre-order page for it. MVP Plus membership. Receive everything included in the MVP bundle, plus 7-day early access, monthly members only Ultimate Team packs, beta access, all playable mascots in College Football 27, exclusive offers, and more. Introducing Smart Zones. I mean, we kind of already have that. I feel like that's pretty much already in the game. You tell them to play backed off, or you could tell them to play close. Right now, I am seeing, checking out the talking about the subscription. Madden NFL 27 Deluxe Edition plus limited time bonus, 990 or 99.99 plus. I will say better zone coverage definitely is needed because right now they just kind of aimlessly roam. Yeah, so I'm seeing here on the Microsoft page, EA Sports MVP Plus membership. That covers Madden 27 and College Football 27. $134.99 for 12 months. Subscription continues automatically unless canceled. Not much information on what you might have to pay after the 12 months. Hopefully we'll get some more information on that. Appreciate the heads up there, PNW. And I just deleted that one because some of the verbiage in there, since it's on the main screen. I mean, it's interesting, the wide receiver jostle mechanic. I wonder if it'll automatically do it, though, or if that's just something else you have to do. But that's a new look here for the actual player menu, if you will. Quick jump. Rest, takedown, pocket disruptor, recoup, all look similar. So they're moving that College Football 27 ability system into Madden, which I think is better. Yeah, that trade was absolutely crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Now, the problem that they had with the goal lines was it was automatic quarterback sneak every time. You couldn't do anything against it. I wonder if that means we could get a tush push in the game. I would love to see how EA would handle trying to run a tush push. QB sneak meter. A weird jump. I feel like they could use that in a tush push situation. And why is it harder when you have more guys lined up inside to stop that than when you spread them wide. That doesn't make much sense to me. Push. Called it. It's in Madden, but they did not say it's going to be in college football, though. So Madden does now have a reworked version of that home field advantage. And dynamic weather. Okay, so didn't touch much there on what was actually brought in with the crowd noise. What does that affect, you know? So hopefully they're also going to be releasing like a deep dive article covering all this stuff too. The dynamic weather seems to be going to both college football and Madden. I feel like that's always kind of been the thing. The QB meter might be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't really like that at all. But I mean, I'm old, so I go back to you tap for the lob, you hold down slightly for a touch, and then you could just hold the whole time. It does not matter. It's not going to affect that outside the player ratings. I think is what it should be. Time-based. So you got meter catching to basically match the quarterback meter. Definitely not for that. I wonder if they'll have it similar or a setting like they had in college football. I think even in Madden, you could change the passing style. So you could have like the revamped or one of the X other different options. If you could just have it be just really normal timing, I don't need to have any more meters popping up, especially, you know, when they're playing more of a Dynasty in this style content that we create. I don't want a whole bunch of different graphics popping up. Just let me play. Interesting. So you could set like some macros. That's interesting. Is that just a PC thing, or you do? Well, I guess if I watch, you do see the A, X, and B, so that might just actually be on all of it. 10 offense, 10 defense. Right next to, so you could what? Hey, you have to switch between it, so even longer in the play call menus. I mean, it is nice if you are someone who does do a lot of adjustments pre-snap to be able to just go ahead and set that. That way you do spend less time in those menus and you just straight up play. Yeah, I'm not one that makes a whole lot of adjustments. Much of what I do is going to be either backing him off, calling if it's going to be a pass, or bringing him down to a press. But that might be something we have to mess around with a little bit more. That might be a masterclass type episode. Breaking down certain adjustments and when to bring them in, why to bring them in. So Speaking of that Kent State episode tomorrow, that one does require some adjustments our defense has to make. And I wonder if we could use these kind of macros to make that more fluid instead of making a setting for every play, have something we can switch to quickly for when they get to a certain lineup. That part, I mean, they're adding a little bit more depth to it, which is good. Football is the deep game. It's a game of chess. So they're adding more things. I just really hope they work properly. Gameplay differentiation. So wide open, looser control, big play energy. Madden, faster, tighter, pro-level precision. I mean, I do like the differences there. Playbook's a little bit different. Again, realistic. Do like that. It should feel like you're playing a different game. And I was worried when they were saying that there was going to be a lot of things similar. We were going to lose that difference or that differentiation between the two. Coverage, base shells, more zone windows. I don't think we need any more zone windows. One's already getting beat a lot. NFL, a little bit more disguised looks, which is good. We've been trying to incorporate that a bit more in college football. Bigger run lanes, chaos in the box, a little bit more gap integrity in Madden. AI play. I'm assuming that they're just talking about the quarter or the CPU. More mistakes from the CPU. That'd be nice. Pre-snap recognition, quarterback surgeons. Don't need any more of that. We've had to deal with plenty of that. Madden has unlimited abilities. Interesting. So looks like it's going to be harder for the home field advantage in Madden, which already at some different times feels like it could be really hard just in college football, especially when you can't see who you're throwing to, right? But again, realistic there in a way. That's what I want to hear, though. Two different experiences. That's got to be key. For these two games to succeed and bring in the same people buying both, they've got to feel different. That was a little bit of the gameplay deep dive. And I wouldn't say necessarily deep dive, more so glossing over the highlights, if you will, the umbrellas of it. Got Ben Kurt there. And I wonder if some of the reason that they added things like that, the macros, is because of videos like what Ben Kurt had been posting over the last year or two, talking about how to break down certain offensive schemes, route concepts based off of what the defenses are showing. If you're seeing that happen a lot, setting those macros, you might have to do it for every single matchup to make things a little bit more fine-tuned to your opponent. Maybe have 5 or so that is like, hey, we got 5 macros that are kind of unanimous for every team that we play against, and then 5 that are a little bit more fine-tuned to the way that those teams play. I think that adds a little bit more of a focus, and that's been something I've been trying to even add a little bit more into, with more so of the defensive adjustments, the depth of those zones. If we're playing our corners just wherever they should normally line up, or if we're moving them around. Obviously, the macros aren't going to change where they line up, I don't believe. But adding a little bit more depth, I think, is definitely a big thing here, making it a little bit more football simulation over arcade football, if you will, for those that do prefer the simulation style. That's obviously what we do around here. Try to make things as spot on as possible. And this is the information we need around here. Dynasty mode. The only thing I'm concerned about, brought up by P&Dub, is the subscription. Something about a 12-month subscription. I buy a game, I just want to have the game. I don't do subscriptions. I'm a little bit more RPG, you know, that's what we do around here. We'll add a little role play. We got a tight ball game going on too here with Indiana and Miami. Interesting. So I wonder how they would balance these AD expectations versus you being able to turn off your coach firing. I mean, it's an interesting thing to add with the AD expectations. I feel like in a way it was kind of there, but it was just such a background thought. It was just, hey, if you win, you're good. But if there are, like, you have to do certain things, like if you have to pass for X amount of yardage, right? But you don't want to make a passing team, you want to make a running team, then that could limit the schools that you could use. So that's really interesting. RJ, when do player rankings come out? Hopefully we'll get that information tonight. At least to when it's going to be coming out. There's going to be people who are going to have some beta access. So I imagine that information will start to roll out, if not published by EA themselves rather shortly. You could steal coaches. Hopefully UNC has a good overall. You're a UNC fan? Got a Tar Heel guy? So it looks like they've kind of removed your recruiting hours for these recruiting points, right? And that is what you use for everything. So they've kind of had that in Madden. It's a background thing. There's no negative effects in Madden, but college football there could be when it comes to recruiting. Yeah, you stop out there. That screen basically looks the same. Okay, so you do have hours, plus you have a budget. So you still have your hours for what looks to be like normal recruiting from what we've had. But now, if you want to do any sort of NIL things and really try to sway some of these guys, you have to offer basically NIL scholarships or NIL contracts, if you will. So if you're in a situation like there's maybe a good 4 or 5 star still available at the last week of recruiting in the off season, Just you got some extra money around. You could toss it his way, try to get him away from someone, perhaps. Oh, it looks like we're going to overtime here for the national championship, too. Okay, I like that, though. It's going to make things very difficult for building up small schools, and I like that. But one thing that is good to see there, you could see some of these guys do not have a NIL expectation. So if you are a smaller school, you could still bring in some guys. And then with whatever it is you got left, you could try to go in hard for a couple of some higher tier players, perhaps. Okay. So there's job applications now, even in college football. Yeah, so you could straight up steal coaches now. That's fun. A lot of offers. I do like that. That is something fun. I think it's going to take a little bit of some getting used to. And what I like here is that they didn't go back and like rewrite from the book, right? You still have the base recruiting that you're used to and what we saw there. But now they actually introduced this NIL thing. It all goes to just basically your school's budget for football, right? And how much you can spend to keep your program up to date, basically facility-wise, the coaches that you can hire. NIL, obviously, there's some good things coming in here. I'm excited about a lot of the things we're seeing. Finally. I don't remember if that was even on my my list, but that is huge because I've wanted a Penn State whiteout game. That upgrade is huge. You could actually update your team builder. So while we may not be able to maybe upgrade the stadiums perhaps of real schools, again, I get it, copyright type ownership problems. But if you use a team builder team, you can actually upgrade them, maybe even increase uniforms, increase the stadium size, make tweaks to it as the team gets better. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And maybe that's, it's not everything we want. Again, in terms of the Kent State series we got currently going, we may not be able to give them a bigger stadium, right? But having that inserted, the base there, if you will, to the pyramid, means that in future games, if they can get teams to write off or something on those, and maybe that could even be a patch. But if teams can write off the ability to upgrade stadiums, then you've got that platform to do that in the future. And it all comes down to teams' ownership rights and all of that. So I understand they have to play within a set of rules, but the fact that you can at least do that with Team Builder is huge. The thing I need to see with Team Builder, though, is that it's available for everyone to use, not just those that are paying for armor. Because I've had a team sitting in the waiting. Okay, now we're jumping over to Road to Glory. Which, we've been playing around with a little bit. Had PK, and then they kind of got broken. But Emeka KO Day has been something great. Biggest thing here, I need to see that what they're doing on the field indicates more so their future offers than their overall. That's the big thing here. Talent alone. Player building. They said 2 Hall of Fame. So was that an indication we can move? We've got more positions. Tight end, edge, Mike, free safety. That is huge. I think we got to run a tight end next year. We are 100% doing a tight end road to glory. Use legend builds. That's fun. So we still don't have any love for the offensive line, but a little bit of love there with the defensive line, playing edge rusher. Okay. You could set your own caps. Loco, I love the athleticism there. The enthusiasticness there. I will, however, have to take that down just because it is on the main screen. But yeah, Dynasty, big improvements. Road to Glory already looks to be some big improvements. You can set your own cap. They were listening to you, Loco. Everything was there. Yeah, a lot of good things there. Again, we need to see how far it stretches. These sights and sounds. He's saying, no, I'm about to cook. Well, I'm going to have to learn a lot of new stuff here, too. It'll be a fun journey for sure, but I think we're going to have a little bit more depth to this, and I think that'll definitely add to it. Reworked practice. Thank God, because I did not like the practice in Road to Glory. Still. Audrey. Is that supposed to be the academic advisor? Because she just disappears after your redshirt sophomore year. Yeah, the classroom. I don't like the way they've got that going right now. We have to take the test. I graduated. I'm done with school. Why are you making me do more school? And Logan's saying, hopefully this has helped choose a team. Well, I mean, part of it is I feel like I need to know a little bit of what these ADs want now. So it doesn't look like we're getting the scenarios like we have in Madden where there's like a cut scene, right? And then we choose. We're still getting like the blank text page. Maybe in future years they'll improve that a little bit. Obviously the base function is there. True. So now you don't choose an archetype and have to upgrade based off of that. That was something I didn't even fully notice. It's you create your own archetype. And the AD wants are dynamic too, which is even better. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make sure that things don't get stagnant after a little while, right? You've reached, your goals, you're doing well, but now, the AD feels like, maybe it's time we, I don't know, maybe switch up from a passing focus to a running focus. Well, then you got to rework your offense, right? So there's things too that will definitely add into the storyline. I know you said we don't have to make our own storylines. I still think that's going to be a part of it. That's always a part of it. As they're talking about it, it's kind of a role-playing game, if you will. And we've definitely dove into that a lot more with Coach Ty. Do it as well with Bronson. Indiana won here, too. Or wait, no, they're still going, actually. Check that. Those who are watching the little game we got going down below. Yeah, there's some interesting information here. Definitely some things that were not on my radar, like an AD system. Managing our facilities, plus we have to keep recruiting players until the end of the year. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no letting up on recruiting, that's for sure. Which part of me likes, part of me doesn't, because I like being able to kind of bring in, or depending on where you are, you bring in either your base needs first and then you go shopping, right? You see what's available. But now you might not be able to kind of break your recruiting into stages, right? Where you got your needs first, those highlight stars that were forgot about in the mix, and then your off-season stuff. You got to do stuff throughout with all those guys. So I think that's going to make recruiting more difficult for those smaller schools. It's definitely realistic. Yeah, 100% it's realistic. It is the new college football. We see things always happening of guys decommitting 3 to 4 times sometimes. They might recommit back to the school and then go, somewhere else at some point and then come back and whatnot. So I like it. It's just it's a change, right, to what we're used to, even going back to NCAA days. Miami took our 5-star 2027 corner commit. I mean, yeah, after make it to a natty, we're going to definitely pull some things. Now, we got Superstar, Madden Superstar mode up next. This is really big because I haven't touched the mode since we had Bronson Moreau in Madden 24 because it was just so broken. So I'm hoping we're going to see something good here, and then we can transition from like a Mecha KO Day over to Superstar, a tight end perhaps that we're going to be rocking with. Are they about to say you could transfer? That's like the same scene from Madden 26. You have tight end. There's still no love for the line. O-line. So they're not, or haven't said, unless I missed it, that you can bring your player straight over from College Football 27 into Madden Superstar. That's an interesting way of doing the development. It honestly it might just be because I was watching it recently, like a Far Cry build almost, like a actual like role-playing game. That's interesting. The Madden 27 though quarterback. I don't know how I feel about that. Like we're BYU's quarterback. So that's, I think, 47. I don't know if I like that though. Seeing like the red come in, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. If there's a way to turn it down to where you don't see it as much, I think that would be better. And you may go to rookie mini camp for the first 3 years of your career, if Madden 26 is anything real. Okay, so there are relationships in Madden. They didn't mention any of that in college football, though. Interesting. Okay. So you could try to make a diva basically. Wear and tear, I hope they massively overhauled. Because that's been a big problem, at least in college football Road to Glory. Goat tracker. Definitely not what I thought the page would have looked like. That part I do like. You could go down. It doesn't just go up. So if you want like a Russell Wilson almost, right? Well, with Seattle really going hot, but then ever since he left, that legacy's really, really dropped. Okay. You know, they touched on some things, but I think the core problem that I've had in Superstar mode is that it just feels so forced, right? It makes you make mistakes. It makes you have bad throws. It makes you get sacked 87 times in a 16-game season, right? So they didn't touch anything on that. We're going to see some gameplay. That's why I'm hesitant, even with everything that they've talked about with Madden. And they honestly haven't touched on it as much, probably because they didn't do as much. Hoping that that's not the case, but I think the fact that, again, they're just kind of touching on some random things, but not the core basics of it. I'm going to need to see some gameplay before I dive fully on in there to Madden. Because as I was standing coming into this year, I probably wasn't going to buy Madden. And if it is a subscription base, I have to subscribe and pay yearly for Madden. I mean, obviously we're going to do some college football. We'll do that for sure. But if I buy a game, I need to have access to it. So hopefully we'll get some more information on that. In fact, I'll do a little bit more digging on that right now. They are jumping into talking about franchise mode here. Obviously, again, that's the primary thing we do. Okay, so about the subscriptions. The traditional one-time purchase MVP bundle, deluxe editions of both games, is still available, while the MVP Plus is a premium subscription option. So basically what they did, it looks like here, again, I'll make sure before I say anything official. It looks like they put all of the early access stuff, the extra points for your coaching staff or your road to glory, all of that is behind the subscription paywall. Just realized our game's over here. Make sure I get another game going. Do a Mountain West one here. New Mexico Lobos. You know, we'll get some Utah State in here for Red Hot. Get a little game going here. Games around the country plus stats of the games pop up during games in Dynasty now. I mean, they've kind of had those updates in a way. You know, you'll see like on the bottom score bug, they'll show some stats occasionally. I don't know as much of stats, but at least scores. Are you saying real games? Or just in Dynasty games, Loco? And then he does not match or doesn't complete his physical. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they just pop up like during timeouts and stuff. That, I mean, all for some better in-depth look at what's happening around the league, especially when there's games that matter for you, especially later in the season. It looks like in franchise there is a little bit more player sway in negotiations, which I think is good. They've been kind of bland. Shout out O-line. What I want to see here with these is if we can front load or back load contracts. I don't know if I like the term mini game in there. I do like the patience feature there. You can't just keep negotiating back and forth for just weeks on end. It's an interesting method. I think it could play well. And for those that really want to dive into a franchise and really build that, this does provide a lot more realism than just going into the menu, throwing in an arbitrary number. And for me, making sure it's an even number might be a little bit of some OCD or something to that, but making sure it's an even 0 or 5. Yeah, because right now, it doesn't look like you could actually go in and, unless I missed it, actually set what your offer is. You're just kind of negotiating up or down with it. But one thing I didn't see there that I really wanted to see was the ability to structure that contract. Front load it, leave it neutral, same throughout, or back load a contract. Interesting. That's hilarious, though, that they're using Brian Flores talking about consequences. That's hilarious. I do like a little bit more of the depth there with the coordinator, because obviously, I mean, Minnesota Vikings are using it there. Brian Flores is, just smacked the game controller off the desk. But Brian Flores has obviously had a huge impact on that team. If they didn't have him last year, they probably would have won one game. So I do like that. All franchise tags, transition tags, undrafted rookie FA. So we should actually get some real undrafted UDFA contracts. I'm hoping that's what that means. It looks like they might be taking or going through a transition. I'm just going to say this real quick. That MVP bundle, which does not include the subscription, is $150, and that is for both Madden and college football. That includes both deluxe editions, 4,600 college football points, and one upgradable ultimate team player, an 83 overall BND cornerstone player, 3-day early access instead of the 7, exclusive early access to solo challenges, an 81 overall B&D cover athlete player item, 100 Dynasty coach points, and 250 Road to Glory skill points. That's for college football. For Madden, you obviously get the game or deluxe edition, 4,600 Madden points, and one ultimate team item, plus season 1 player item. I don't do any of the mutts or anything like that, so that I'm not quite sure on. 3-day early access, exclusive early access to solo challenges, cover athlete elite ultimate team player item, and 300 for franchise points, 1 superstar legendary XP boost. So you still get some of the early access stuff. It's just not as much if you're not paying for that subscription, which I'll tell you right now, I'm not doing. I will pay for things once. That is that. Well, it doesn't look like Caleb actually did show up. That's good. He was just quiet earlier. So, I mean, the franchise news, there was some nice touches there, but I mean, when you saw everything that they were doing for Dynasty, and then you just see that little sprinkle in of franchise, it's not swaying me. But it looks like we're going to talk a little bit about the membership. So let's tune in for this. I'll be quiet. Yeah, I'm with you, Loco, on College Football 27. Pretty sure it was 7 last year. There you guys go, wondering about the betas. Right now, if you do the membership. So that looks like it's the end of the actual information dump of things. And then there's going to be some creators jumping in. I'm assuming actually playing the game. I'll have that continue playing in the background. But let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of a talk about that. Well, we let them get, I guess, ready to actually see a little bit of some action. Again, I will not be putting that on the stream because I don't have any other rights to do so, and I'm not going to break any of those rules. So, honest first opinion is I don't think they did anything to make me feel like I need to go get Madden. For the most part, it seems to be the same game. The only thing they did in franchise, which is what we do around here, is they tweaked how you offer contracts. That was what my first impression was. There didn't seem to be much of a change of gameplay mechanics in there. Most of the stuff they talked about with the gameplay mechanics was all college football. Now, I was going back and forth between talking with you guys and listening to what they were saying. So maybe they said something that some of the same mechanics are shared. If so, let me know. I'm still going to go and do like a deep dive with all this, do a nice in-depth breakdown, edit those videos, and we'll break down each different game mode, any of the other things that have been added, pageantry and stuff like that. I know, Loco, you were saying earlier, you want to see a little more of those sights and sounds. We didn't really get a good look at that, unfortunately. So there was a lot of information that I think they didn't share, but will probably be releasing over the, the next month or so. Because again, College Football 27, that is, what was Michael Vick? July 7th, I believe, or July 9th. One of those two. Double check. Make sure we get that right. So anyway, we're about a month away. So they're probably going to be releasing little clips here and there of that. Does it say on the purchase page? If you were looking to just buy College Football 27, not a deluxe or anything like that, the base is $70. It's $90 if you just buy the deluxe edition of College Football. Again, if you do the bundle, no subscription, it's $150. It's also $150 if you sign up right now for the subscription, but I don't know how I feel about the subscriptions. What do I have to pay after the 12, right? After the 12 months, the next game should be out. So is it just buying the next one? What happens? Do I still own the game membership? I think we'll talk about that in a video. But yeah, not sold on Madden. I think we're going to wait up. Loco, you just pre-ordered. Yeah, I think we're going to wait. That might mean I got to spend more money down the lines if Madden does end up being good. But I think we're going to wait on Madden. We'll let some, updates come out into its live, see if it's anything really good. And if it is, then, we'll jump back into some Madden action. We'll do some superstar modes if we, again, if the game mode is functional. The last time we played it, it was not. So it's also been a couple years with that. So again, Madden-wise, what they showed tonight didn't move me. However, college football, they definitely added a lot of things. There's the whole new NIL, but it's your overall football budget. The AD addition there to actually make sure that your coach is living up to the expectation of the school, not just your coach is kind of able to do whatever he wants. That, I think that's fun. I'm sure with that, there'll also be some certain things like winning certain rivalry games. Those games are going to matter a little bit more, have a better weight And if you're doing a coaching carousel, that is absolutely fantastic, because right now coaching carousel is kind of flat. It's just Dynasty, and you can choose if you want to go to a different school. But now you've got all that addition, plus you can even submit your own job applications to other schools if they didn't offer you. Now that could end up costing you potentially your current job, I think is what they were saying. So that's a really nice twist to it. If there is a school you really want to go to, you think it's a good fit, they weren't quite interested, you're like, hey, maybe we are a good fit, right? So there's some really good things there. Dynamic weather. Right now in the stream, they look to have a Madden thing going on right now. They're kind of jumping back and forth with all the different creators. Just looking at what they're doing again with Madden, we're jumping around. We're talking about a whole lot of stuff right now. But just looking at it, the game looks the same. So Madden is really not doing anything for me right now. College football is where we've been striving. So we're going to continue striving with that college football. They talked about team builder teams. You can go back in and restructure your team at the start of every single season. So that means that, you can make some tweaks, maybe add in some uniforms, upgrade your stadiums, right? The one thing I didn't hear about those team builders is if it is still stuck behind the paywall of online play. Again, it never made sense to me. If I got a team builder team, I'm playing solo, offline, on my own machine, why I can't just download whatever team and use whatever team I want. I don't understand that, but it's what they've done. It's a paywall thing. That's where the world is right now. But we saw that with the bundle thing coming into as they're hiding. They said for the first time ever, 7-day early access. I could have sworn last year that we had a 7-day early access. So I don't know what was up with that. That might have been a misspoke or misspeaking, whatever. But yeah, we at least get 3 days. They didn't mention if there was any sort of spring game in it, but we might still have to do that ourselves. Just trying to do a quick game mode beforehand, play now mode. Eric, we have to pay to get every mascot and mascot mashup. Yeah, I think that was one thing I did see was behind that. I don't know. I don't know why they would make that decision. Maybe certain schools said they would only give them the rights to use their mascot if they got compensation, right? So if that's the case, I mean, I wasn't planning on using mascot mashup. It's a fun mode. I played it when I was a kid, of course, using the Stanford tree, doing front flips over everybody. It's the most fun game mode, just why. Well, who knows how many mascots are base game? That information, at least I didn't hear tonight. It might be, again, if they're releasing those articles like they did last year, which hopefully they do. We'll break those down if that's the case. I imagine they're going to have the big mascots already in, and then maybe like an expansion pack or so, if you will, that is behind the paywall, which if you're going to get both college football and Madden, it is the same price as the MVP versus the MVP Plus, which is that subscription. It goes for 12 months from what it said, and 12 months from the release of Madden should be the next Madden, right? So if it's something that you really want, and again, you're already going to buy both those games, it makes sense to, I guess, sign up for it. But for myself, I am probably not going to buy Madden out the gate. I might wait till it goes on sale even, just because, again, from what I've seen, it doesn't look any different. They do have Bengal and Dante Moore playing right now, actually. And from what I'm seeing here, it does look very similar to 26, talking about college football. Graphics may be slightly better. Play call menu looks pretty similar. One big thing I noticed, though, is there's not the score bug going across the bottom. So for me editing, that's a good thing, because I had to time up my cuts based off when that would disappear. Chris Johnson came across your channel recently and love your videos. I appreciate it, man. Do you do any online franchises? I'm currently watching your Kent State series, which will be my first Dynasty team in college football 27. They are a great team to use. especially if we do have the ability to upgrade the stadiums. I know they talked about Team Builder having something like that. They didn't touch if that's across the board. That's the only negative with Kent State. The stadium itself is beautiful, the lighting, beautiful, and the amount of uniforms is absolutely crazy for arguably one of the worst teams in college football, if I'm being true. But they're really fun. Glad you're enjoying. As for, do I play any online? Not currently. It's something I've considered maybe down the lines, doing like a members thing if we end up doing that, but right now I just don't have the extra time to do anything more, frankly, with everything I do on YouTube. 5 videos, 2 edited videos, 3 streams. Right now we'll be doing a little bit more in terms of college football 27 news. I'll touch again on the Madden news too, just to make sure we're sharing the love there. But that plus work is all over the place. Maybe if we get to an off season, I would consider it, because working in sports, no week is the same by any means. It fluctuates so much. But hey, that's why we do it. But to answer your question, no, right now, don't do any sort of offline or online stuff. Bro, you cannot access the beta on PC right now. That's interesting, Tyler. I would imagine that would have been one of the first things that they would have had ready, considering it's the first time it is on PC. I don't know if maybe that's a punishment because of Amazon leaking that, or if it might also just be there's a massive flux of people going to play it right now, and servers could be crashing. Chris saying you feel it, yeah. That's one fun thing about, checking the analytics on the channel and seeing who is watching. A lot of you guys are around my age, maybe even a little bit older. Not a whole lot of guys younger. Tyler saying MVP Plus membership is not on PC. It only has the bundle. Well, I mean, I personally wouldn't do the subscription membership thing anyway. But that is interesting that they're not having it on PC. I wonder if that's a release problem. I know in the past there's been certain games that they might release on console just fine, and then there's a hiccup or something on PC, or it might go out on PC just fine, but there's a hiccup on the PlayStation or an Xbox and it's out fine on the others. Considering it is their first release of college football on PC, I would expect a little bit of some up and down from that. Just because, again, it's the first time, even though they've had, games in the past on it. But yeah, overall, a lot of really good things that I'm seeing from college football, and that is a great sign, because arguably I prefer college football to Madden across the board, or to college football to NFL across the board. So I like that they're doing a lot more for college football. I wonder if the membership you stop paying, you don't own the game. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like, I couldn't find that information when I was reading about it. Like after a year, you can't play 27 anymore. Yeah, that's more, because I know some games are going towards that direction, right? Where it's just you buy the rights to play it for 12 months, but you don't actually own the game. That's one thing with, the new consoles, new Xbox consoles, I should say. I think PlayStation still has the disc reader in it, right? But like the Xbox Series X, there's not really a disc reader, right? So, or not as many printed games. Most of them are going out online, so you don't actually own that. And even if you do own the disc, right, you still have to download like half the game. So if they stop supporting it, then you can't play it. So there's a lot of weird things going on in the gaming universe, and some changes that definitely are going to continue happening, and I hope they listen to everybody and make the corrections that need to be made. Looks like, they just jumped away from it. I'm about to say they had a SMU game being pulled up, someone was playing, but then they went away from it, so I couldn't see if there was anything really new there. But I think that's my biggest thing right now. We've talked a little bit about some teams that we've been considering for college football 27, and I've talked about over and over again, I want a Southeast school. I've expanded that region a little bit north of the Southeast. Are you able to play college football 27? I have not downloaded it. No, I'm not doing the subscription, so I won't have access to the beta or anything. Plus, channel, while is really fun, is small. So obviously EA's not reaching out right now, but you never know down the line. I know you want Missouri too, but hate to break it to you, it's not going to be Missouri. But we will see Missouri because we'll be playing a lot against SEC and Sun Belt teams. So you're going to see a lot more Missouri on this channel than you have in the past. Right now, the teams I was keeping an eye on, not including some of the schools you guys have recommended, was UAB and East Carolina. Those were two that I think met a lot of the criteria I was looking for in terms of a smaller school that needs to be built up, right? But has a good sized stadium. What I need to see is that those schools have a bit more traditions, a little bit more influence of their real life traditions, the things you see on game day in them, because a lot of them don't. Tyler, FIU is another one that was on that list that I'd be keeping an eye on because they were in the bottom, we'll say bottom 10 in a lot of overall team stats this last year. Plus they have some fun uniforms. Their negative is their stadium is not as big. But again, if the traditions around it are better, it's still a bigger stadium than Kent State. And I need something bigger than Kent State. But lately, I've also been toying with the idea of South Carolina, Mississippi State. Those are two bigger schools that have really fallen off of late. And I imagine, especially now with the addition of the NIL, the school budget, that it's going to be even harder to recruit for them because of how bad they've been. I'm sure the facilities have dropped off too, that might be a good challenge. There were requests for Memphis. Memphis, I don't think has played as bad, but they do have some really good uniforms, a really nice stadium. And on top of that, I think would also be a difficult school to recruit at. So they are in the mix as well. We've had some talk about Wake Forest. I honestly haven't looked that much into Wake Forest because I know they're not going to have a deep uniform set. And that's one thing that was really nice with the Kent State series, is it's kept it fresh with all the different uniform sets that we got. So looking at those schools definitely right now, and I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit more information on those sounds, the sights, the traditions, the pageantry soon, because they kind of touched on it, but not so much. I also need to go through and see whose mascot was already in college football 26, because then that would mean for sure that it's in college football 27. So I am narrowing things down. Sabretooth coming in with UTEP. UTEP does have, if I'm not mistaken, really nice atmosphere outside of the stadium, right? I think they've got that mountain in the background. Mountain, hill. Really like that stadium. In fact, I talked earlier about the team builder team that I've created. I think I used UTEP's stadium for that. Granted, it was set in either North or South Dakota. So if they, again, remove that paywall from using team builder in a solo offline dynasty, then we could see ourselves perhaps even bring in a team builder team. I think that would be really fun. Build up an entirely new program, and with the fact that they added the South Dakota State Bison, or North Dakota State Bison, not South Dakota, North Dakota State, we would have an instant rival, perhaps, someone that we could try to build up along with. So a lot of good things. I think they hit the nail on the head a lot with college football. Unfortunately, for Madden, yet again, it looks like they just kind of shoved it to the side. If there's ever going to be really good push for them to improve, they need competition. And I don't know for sure. I know previously they had a contract with the NFL that they could only sign with EA. They had to sign a new one over the last year. I don't know if that one is a non-compete too. I would have to look into that, but they need competition for the NFL. Otherwise, from someone like 2K, perhaps, they're just going to keep doing what they seemingly keep doing. They sprinkled in a little bit of some new contract negotiation, and that was it for franchise. They added basically the same thing in Superstar that they added for college football. So again, they basically didn't touch the game. They ported some things over, is what it seems like to me. So that's my initial impression of Madden. Really excited about college football. Even if the game itself looks the same, they just add more to the atmosphere of it. I think that's great. They didn't really touch much on some of the different things that we could see in terms of game day visuals, halftime, quarter breaks, if there's a pre-game show, post-game show, anything like that. I'm hoping we're going to get more of that information over the next about month or so. Because again, we are just a month away from College Football 27 dropping. So that means we got to round out our Kent State series here rather soon. And we are definitely well in front of time here to round out the prequel series of College Football 27 with Coach Bronson Moreau. Still, leave your ideas on the teams. I know, Tyler, you did toss in the UAB approval there. FIU, if I'm not mistaken, Bam McReynolds is with UAB. We could have a reunion with him and Coach Bronson Moreau. Of course, we had him at ULM in that prequel. So, I mean, things are coming. Expanded road to glory positions. I am 100% doing a tight end because I would have been a tight end if I was an offensive guy. But no, I was defensive, rightfully so. But got to show the tight end some love. We didn't get a whole lot of tight end action in College Football 26, so we're going to make up for that. Leave your guys' thoughts. What do you think? You know, are you excited about what you saw? Are you expecting more news to come, or was that literally all the information they have to give us? Because they were saying that they were going to drop all the information. I'm hoping that there's a second drive. But if you guys did enjoy today, make sure you do several different things. Stick around for the release of College Football 27 and the start of a new series by hitting that bear icon down in the bottom right. Well, that isn't properly lined up. Let's make sure we get that lined up and do that one more time, actually. Oh, I'm playing different songs. I'm hitting the wrong button. Wow, such a professional. There we go. Now it's in front. Hit that bear icon in the bottom right. If you guys do want to stick around and see what we get up to, and to make sure you don't miss out, hit that bell icon. So that way you're notified of everything happening here on the channel. And if you enjoyed a little talk about back and forth today, make sure you guys leave this a thumbs up. It was a chill stream. Not a whole lot happening, just us kind of listening around. Sabretooth, I was excited for the stadium builder until they said for team builder. Yeah, again, hoping that that is just the base of the pyramid. And then they could figure out some way to work with these schools to get the riots to make some changes. Whether that's the school being like, these are the changes that you could add, or whatever it is, just a way to add on some steam, make things a little bit bigger. I think that's the big thing that's holding that back, is just getting the school's approval, conferences as well, because also some of that is tied to bowl games, right? But then would that mess with the bowl games? Would it keep the stadium properly upgraded, right? So there's a lot that goes into that, but the base of the pyramid is set. The building blocks are there for that to build on. And as long as they remove Team Builder from behind the paywall, then I'm all for it, you know? So only time will tell with that, but I am far more excited for college football than Madden. And I do not, again, as we end this here today, I do not imagine that I'll be buying definitely buying college football. I would probably not be buying Madden out the gate. Maybe when it goes on a deal, I'll let you guys know if there's ever any sales that I see. And if it's good, right? I think that's the biggest thing. We got to see if Madden actually made any big changes outside of just some negotiation screens. Was it what we expected? I don't know about you, but it's kind of what I expected. But that is where we are going to leave things off for today. Expect some more in-depth based off of play modes, pageantry. When we get that information, we'll have videos on all of that coming, as well as we lead up to College Football 27 early July. Shame they didn't say much for coach customizations, but I like the new gear. Yeah, for the college football at least, it did look like that they've added on a little bit to it. That was one thing in Madden that they did say that you could have a little bit more influence from your coordinators, hand off certain tasks. I think there was so much more that needed to be done for Madden to make it a better game, but that's where we're going to leave it off. Again, as mentioned, we'll talk about all that other stuff and more. And be here tomorrow. It's probably going to be around a 2:30 Pacific time release. I think that's around where I'm going to get it out to you guys. The Kent State game against Penn State tomorrow. It's top tier. We talked earlier, someone at the beginning said bringing back the college football classics, the instant classics. This game is an instant classic, so you do not want to miss. Penn State is everything we expected them to be after last year's sweep. That's where I'm going to leave it off because I don't want to spoil anything. It's a great game. And of course, we're going to be back with some more prequel on Saturday, some Emeka KO Day on Sunday, and probably next Wednesday is where we're going to start a good deep dive, or perhaps we might even have some little videos pop up here and there on like a Thursday or a Tuesday. Just kind of sprinkle things in. So make sure you guys are keeping up with the channel. If you got your notifications on, you'll get all that information and more. So that is where we'll leave it off. I said that several times, but that is going to be it officially here for us today. Appreciate you guys joining me here for this little chat about. Still leave your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll be responding in the comments as well. But until next time, which will be tomorrow, we will see you guys then. Hope you have a great rest of your night and a great start to your day tomorrow.